Hello and welcome back to Aubrey Books and Coffee. Please grab your favorite beverage of choice and join me. So we made it to the end of July, you guys, and I am so tired. That's why I'm looking a lovely hot mess today, and I apologize, but oh my gosh, this has been the longest month. And I was talking to some of my friends, and they said the same thing. They're like, there's just something about July. And even Lisa Woodruff from Organized 365, I love her stuff. She's gotten me way more organized than I ever was before, and my house cleaner than it was before. But anyway, she even talks about July being kind of this Bermuda Triangle in the year where things just slip through the cracks and things just happen. And it seems like just when you have it managed, something else comes swinging at you and just throws you off, and it's just terrible. So I apologize. I did end up successfully reading all the books that I was supposed to with my roles and prompts for July. However, I didn't do much more than that. I got a couple of short reads in that I'll dive into at the end of this, but overall I only did 15 books, and I think that's the smallest amount I've ever done. I've been averaging 20 or more every month, so it was just not a great month, you guys. And some of those books were really thick, and it just, oh my gosh. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the review portion. And again, I apologize for how I looked. You'll just have to, I don't know, hold up a picture of someone really amazingly hot, like, Jennifer Garner or Jennifer Aniston. Am I aging myself here? Maybe I should do somebody younger. Justin Bieber? Anyway, Selena Gomez. So hold up somebody that to you is hot and attractive and just listen to the reviews. So first I had to read Blood Scion. And I actually gave that a 3-star. I thought it was a really enjoyable read. It's hard to read because it does have to do with warfare and some of the terrible things that happen in times of war and training soldiers, especially when these children are taken from their home and don't want to be soldiers. It's kind of being forced upon them. And then they threaten their families if they try to run away and things like that. And all in the midst of this, some have powers, and the powers will get you killed. So it's a good read. I highly recommend it. I gave it a 3-star just because it is a little heavier than I normally like to read. Then I read Murder with Lemon Tea Cakes. I gave this one a 3-star as well. It felt like it was written more oldie-timey, kind of like the Cat Who books. If you like those, which I do, it's the same kind of feel to them. It feels older British lady kind of writing, but it was an interesting story. I did not see who was going to be the one that did the murdering at the end. It took me by surprise, which is also always nice, but not the kind of surprise that you get sometimes with some of these where the person who killed them is somebody you never even met throughout the novel. I always feel like that's a cop-out. That was not the case here. So good luck and happy guessing. Then I read The Possession. This is one of the ones my husband really wanted me to read, and I guess it's the second one in a series, but I'd seen some of the reviews after I read it because I was confused, and come to find out all the stuff that these characters went through in the first book, they carry none of that with them through to the second book. It's just, it happened to them, but there's no like talking about it, there's no PTSD from it, there's no anything about it, and so it's almost like it didn't happen to them, but it's the same characters, and so it is a little confusing. I also only gave it a 2-star because for me there was a whole lot of facts that were being dropped about these secret caves and tunnels that were built, and I understand the author was trying to give us more information about this because it is unique and it is interesting, but there was a lot talked about it, and I'm just not a person who needs all that extra detail in my stories. I prefer to see character development versus that. So, and a lot of the book just, yeah, it was kind of strange and out there and confusing to me. Solo Leveling, Book 1. This was the trade paperback, and I gave it a 5-star. I know. Oh my gosh, this was so good, and it was so hilarious, and I knew I was probably gonna like it because I love gaming and video gaming, and so I thought I might like it, but I didn't know where they were going to go with the story with this character who's an E rank, the lowest you can possibly be. And I didn't really know what the premise of the story was going to be. And it doesn't ruin anything to tell you that in this day and age, this world that they're in, some people are born with or given this natural ability to go fight dungeons. And so they're basically used to put into these little portals that open up to fight all these dungeons. And doing that gets them loot that they can find, and it gives them paid. It's their way to earn a paycheck. And so this poor character's an E rank, and he really hates going and risking his life when he doesn't have any of the good weapons, any of the good armor. He's a really low rank. He's not a good fighter. But he goes because he has a mom in the hospital and he's got to pay her bills. And that is just heart-wrenching. But it is so good and is really well written. The illustration's really good, beautiful drawings. And I just love the story. I'm not going to give away anything else, but that was number 1. And I have number 2 on my shelf, and I'm betting they're going to go even further than that. And I'm looking forward to continuing it. So I recommend it. Then I read the Kaiju Preservation Society. I have the hardest time saying this. I gave that a 4-star. It was hilarious, you guys. Now I know why my husband was laughing so hard all the time. Oh my gosh. I won't give anything away because you know I don't like spoilers. I will just say it's the kind of funny where you could totally see yourself sitting around with your group of girls, group of guys, mixed, however you do, and you say something and then they say something that's like dad joke corny and you're all like, oh my gosh. Or you say something and they say something completely perverted and you're like, okay, seriously, are we 12? Or you're in a group of people where one person says something that's hilarious and it goes on and gets stretched and stretched, and the longer it goes, the funnier it is. And that was how this was written. And it's so fantastic. It's like the author knew the idea that he was writing about was kind of out there and he just embraced it. And it's fantastic. And I will just give this little hint. If nothing else, the names of the kaijus are fantastic. And I absolutely love them. And page 138 through like 142 literally had me snorting. I was laughing so hard. So there's that for you. Highly recommend you pick it up. Then I read, because of the coffee break, A Court of Silver Flames. And oh my gosh, of course it was a 5-star. Of course it was. I love that I finally got to the end of this series. I love learning more about Nesta. She grew on me, which Kim from Whimsical Narrative said that she would. I didn't believe her. Shh. Don't tell Kim. But I'm like, there's no way. I hate this chick. She is the worst. But I did, and she does end up growing on you and her relationships, and it's so good. It really is, you guys. And if you're all about having a story that's not just love interest, but girl power, this is definitely the one to pick up for you. It is so good. Highly recommend. Then also, because of the coffee break, I read Together We Burn. I had heard some controversy with this. First of all, I gave it a 4-star. I thought it was really well written. I thought it was a very intriguing story. I really enjoyed it. I'd heard controversy about this is supposed to kind of parallel the countries that have the bulls and the bullfighting still, and how it's a part of their culture, but yet there's people who talk about how it's inhumane to the bulls. And that's kind of what they went with, but with dragons. And I absolutely can understand both sides of it. And my heart absolutely, of course, goes out to animals. I'm an animal lover. I worked in the veterinary field for several years. I get that. I absolutely do. I also get the importance of maintaining a culture and maintaining the history in a culture. And I understand the beautiful aspects of that as well. So I get that. But all that said, a lot of people were being harsh with the author, like she created this or something. First of all, guys, there are no dragons. I'm sorry to break that to you, but there are no dragons. So there were no dragons harmed in the making of this novel, okay? So I don't understand why they were being quite so hard with her. And she actually wrote in the book, in her notes and acknowledgments, that she grew up with this culture. And so she absolutely is an animal lover. She's not advocating to continue this. She wanted to do it in a way that made it fiction, that made it fun, that maybe made you stop and think for a minute about what the other side might be thinking, which isn't that a great thing to do anyway, guys? As hard as it is, at the end of the day, even if you really disagree with somebody else's stance on something, they're a human being too, you know? Like, they're somebody else's son, daughter, mother, sister, father, best friend. Let's have some compassion and maybe just take a minute, take a breather, and try to see things from another light. So anyway, that's my soapbox for you guys. Moving on. So I also got from the apothecary jar reading of Magonia, which I totally did not pronounce right whenever I did the rolls. But after actually reading it, and then I did the audiobook version, hearing them read it, I actually know how to pronounce it now. I gave that a 3-star. It was a really good read. It's sad. It takes you by surprise because in the first few chapters, I'm not going to give anything away, but something happens that you're like, okay, so how are they going to write the rest of this book? And it was done very well. It was very interesting. It was fun. It was easy to read and follow through. And you end up really caring about all these characters. And it made it seem to me like there's going to be another one. So just letting you know, it's worth the read and worth the time. The next thing I did was my writing prompts. And the first prompt was to read one of my passports that I get in my Scribbler boxes. And I read the story arc, and it was really good, and especially pertained to the fact that I am going to be doing a 12-book series. And so I absolutely loved and appreciated that. I also got the prompt to write 10,000 words. Later on, I got a prompt for 500 words. So a total of 10,500. I actually wrote over 20,000. So we got that one. Then I needed to do an audiobook on writing, which I'm also really good with because I have been wanting to get this blogging going. And so I actually read Blogging by Brandon M. Robert. Sorry, I'm terrible with names, even when they're easy. But anyway, I actually only gave that a 2-star. I was really hoping for more information than what he provided. I get that he was trying to just do a quick little ebook kind of thing, but it just wasn't as informative as I was hoping it was going to be. So I don't know if it's worth the read to you. If you're doing a blog or want to do a blog, maybe a cursory glance, but it's not the best from my perspective. Another prompt said I needed to edit some chapters, which I did. I ended up editing about 1/3 of my second novel. So it's almost ready to go to my beta readers. And then last was the subject prompt, which I ended up doing a hospital visit. So I'm not going to give anything else away. I want you to read my book. I also had time to do some audiobooks that came for free on Hoopla this month. So I read Lessons from Madame Chic by Jennifer Scott. Loved it so much, 3-star. It's not earth-shattering, but it's a fun concept of how to minimalize your closet and your wardrobe and things like that, and how to just be more professional and to be more glamorous. And obviously I didn't take the lessons to heart yet, guys. I'm working on it. But the second one I did was At Home with Madame Chic. And again, it was a lot of fun points on there. Polish Your Poise with Madame Chic. All of these were 3-star. And then last but certainly not least, I also read The 12-Week Year, which I gave a 3-star, and I recommend it, and it's supposed to help your productivity. And it basically teaches you how to break things down into bite-sized chunks. So don't think of the year as like my yearly goal or my, whatever you want to do there, or halfway where you want to be, or resolutions or whatever, but instead it's every 12 weeks. So at the end of this 12 weeks, where am I going to be with my health, with my finances, with organization, with my novel, whatever the case may be, with YouTube videos, and then the next 12 weeks, and to just kind of make it bite-sized chunks. And he gives several ideas and things for you to do to help your productivity. And so I did enjoy that. I actually learned quite a bit from it. So that's all I have for this review, you guys. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you so much for looking at, a good-looking person and not this the whole time. And I promise to look a little nicer for August's rolls. How about that? Take care, guys.